In the last topic, you got to know your character strengths, and I hope you've got that list there so you can start working with them as soon as possible. Now in this topic, we're going to work with values. They form the foundation to our character strengths. So we'll explore what values are, we'll look at the difference between values and core beliefs, and then we'll look at why it's so important to have an understanding of what our personal values are for the sake of our well-being. And then I'll provide you with an exercise so that you can identify your own personal values for yourself. So firstly, what are values? Well, values are basic and fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate our attitudes or actions. They help us to determine what is important to us. Values describe the personal qualities, a beingness, to guide our actions, the sort of person we want to be, the manner in which we treat ourselves and others, and our interaction with the world around us. They provide the general guidelines for our conduct. Values, in a narrow sense, is that which is good, desirable, or worthwhile, and they are the motive behind purposeful action. They are the ends to which we act and come in many forms. Personal values are personal beliefs about what is right and what is wrong. So let's explore further. What is the difference between values and core beliefs? Well, in a nutshell, values unite, core beliefs divide. You will recall from topic 20 that core beliefs are assumptions that we hold to be true, and these are based on our past experiences. When we use our core beliefs to guide our behavior, we may be using the wrong assumptions to do so. Besides, in a rapidly changing world where complexity is increasing day by day, using information from the past to make decisions about the future may not be the best way to support us in meeting our needs. Beliefs are contextualized to our learned past experiences from the environment we grew up in. Values, however, are not based on information from the past, and they are not contextual. Values are universal. Values transcend context because they are based on what is important to us. They arise from the experiences of being human. Values are intimately related to our needs. Whatever we want out of life, whatever is important to us, or what is missing from our lives is what we value. As our life conditions change and as we mature and grow in our psychological development, our value priorities also change. When we use our values to make decisions, we focus on what is important to us, what we need to feel a sense of well-being. So why is it important to know your values? Our values are communicating to us whether we are aware of them or not. When we are in alignment with our values, we feel a sense of fulfillment. When we are not living in alignment with our values, we feel discomfort and unhappiness. For example, someone who values family and is in a career that requires they travel abroad for most of the year will feel that something is missing in their life, and this misalignment results in this unhappiness. If that person had chosen a career more aligned to their family values, allowing them to spend more time with their family, they may be happier even if it means earning less money. So understanding and knowing our values is important because firstly, when we live according to our values, we feel a deep sense of fulfillment, achievement, happiness, and satisfaction around our lives. If you reflect on those past experiences where you felt fulfilled, you'll discover that there was an alignment between your experience and your values. Secondly, by knowing our values, we can then make better quality choices leading us to a fulfilled life. When we find ourselves at a crossroads and having to make a choice or a decision, knowing our values and their priorities can help us make better quality choices, even if those choices are difficult. Someone working long hours away from their family may use their value around family as a basis to change their career, to have more family time. Maybe for someone else, the value of security for their family is a priority, and therefore the basis for the difficult choice of working away from home. It depends on each person's set of values and their priorities, which determines their choices. Thirdly, by living our values, we have integrity. They become our guide in terms of how we behave towards others and towards ourselves, improving our relationships with both. If we value kindness and respect, for example, and we consciously live by these values, we will demonstrate kindness and respect to others and ourselves. These values will also guide whom we choose as friends and how we allow others to treat us. We form social connections with those who have similar values and treat us with the same kindness and respect we give them. Finally, knowing our values raises our self-awareness around the gap between how we are living in relation to these values. So often, our core beliefs can sabotage us as we attempt to live in alignment with our values. For example, we may value honesty, but the core belief that we feel we must walk on eggshells to get what we want and cannot speak directly may hold us back from living this value. Or we could value financial freedom, but our self-doubt could prevent us from taking the necessary risks to achieve this. This gap created by our core beliefs, which prevents us from living our values, creates unhappiness and disharmony with life. And with self-awareness, we can recognize this gap and close it as we move away from our core beliefs towards our values. So how do we identify our values? Well, you're provided with 4 detailed steps in exercise 4 of workbook 8 to guide you. Briefly, in step 1, you're provided with some questions that will help you identify your values. These are based on your specific past experiences and behaviors, which indicate your values in action. As you reflect on the answers, consider the values that are coming alive, making you happy around your experience, and give that value a specific name. We have provided a list of common values in the exercise to help you do so. There is no right way or wrong way to do this. Simply feel the answers that come to you and write them down. Now, once you've completed the questions in step 1, you'll have a comprehensive list. Now you'll proceed to step 2. Now in step 2, you will then reduce your list to your top 10 values. To do this, look for any patterns, similarities, or repetitions in your comprehensive list that indicate some common values. A quick way to help you identify your top values is to use your character strengths, which you worked on in the last topic. Our strengths have at their foundations our values, so as you identify your top 10, look for those values that support your strengths, or you may even find your strengths are your values as you reflect on your list. Once you have your top 10, then go to step 3. Step 3 is where you prioritize your values by answering specific questions in this step. Use your character strengths to help with this by identifying those values that support your top strengths and consider whether these are your top priority values. It is a highly subjective exercise, which may feel difficult at first, but begin ranking the values nevertheless. You can always make changes later on as you reflect further. Now, once you've completed this step, you go to step 4. Now in step 4, you're required to connect with your top 4 values because working with all of them will be overwhelming. You will be required to reflect on 4 points. The first point is where you reflect on 2 or 3 behaviors that demonstrate your value in action. This reinforces your value as a guide to your behavior. Secondly, you are required to reflect on how your values support your company values. Most values can be connected to each other or support each other. When we do this, we bring meaning into our workplace by both living our values in the workplace and supporting our organization's values. Thirdly, you are also asked to reflect on any limiting core beliefs that may sabotage you as you try and live by your values. As you do this, you may want to consciously work with those core beliefs as you did in topic 20, moving away from them towards your values. Finally, you will be asked to reflect on how your values support your personal vision. If you have created a personal vision, then ask yourself how these values can help guide you towards what you want in life. We will be providing you with an exercise around personal vision in a later topic. It is an extensive exercise which will require about an hour of your time, and as you start to discover your values, you will go away and then maybe come back and change them as you start to reflect more. But what I've also discovered is, as one grows psychologically, our sets of values do change. For example, when I became a father to 2 darling daughters, I realized my values had changed completely, so I had to go and rework them, reprioritize them. So it's not a static exercise. This is something that evolves as you evolve. And as long as you've got some guidance from your values, then you're in a better place than if you didn't have any at all. Now, in the next topic, we are going to explore heart intelligence and the inner work. And I really do look forward to seeing you in that topic because we're going to discuss some really wonderful concepts that will help you, especially when you're making changes to your life and you have that sense of loss of identity and you feel maybe a bit confused and life is a bit chaotic. Well, it does help to work with heart intelligence, and you'll see why. Now, as we finish off with this topic, I leave you with a wonderful quote by John C. Maxwell. Your core values are the deeply held beliefs that authentically describe your soul. So I will see you shortly, and until then, take care and stay aware.